Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk about living with uncertainty. This is a question I get asked a lot as well, and I just wanted to kind of discuss the many aspects of it. First of all, there's some situations with OCD that are just impossible to solve, so with those, this living with uncertainty becomes extremely difficult because the person will say, well, I feel like I can never solve this because there's no way to figure this situation out. And in this case, you have to look at it this way. You only have really two options. Option number one is to continuously go over the situation mentally over and over again, or if you have to do physical compulsions, then you do physical compulsions over and over again endlessly, right? And in the moment right now, it feels to you like you will have this all your life, you will have this when you're 90 years old. It's not actually true. It will eventually, the brain will move on to something else. But that's option number one. Option number two is just to cut to the chase and say, you know what, if the brain will eventually move on to something else, and if there's no way I can figure it out, and when I do move on to something else, you know, um, I'm not going to be, it's not going to be figured out anyways. So I might as well do this now, you know, rather than wait, until the brain finds something that's, a new theme to switch to. Right. So try to look at it like this, that, you've had OCD for a while. If you've been stuck on this one thought for this whole time, then you have to put your foot down and say, okay, you know what? This is enough. I think I've suffered long enough. I will never get certainty on this. That I know because I've analyzed so much. I have to move on. Or in terms of physical compulsions, you have to look at it. How many physical compulsions have you done already, and how many more does it want you to do? It's never going to be done. The more you do compulsions, mental compulsions, physical compulsions, avoidances, it all just leads deeper into OCD and makes the OCD thought feel increasingly more and more real. So that's how you have to look at it, that, well, feels real, must be OCD. I'm not doing this anymore. And that's what living with uncertainty is about. It's not about, it's very, very difficult, you know. It's just about saying that my health, my OCD recovery is more important. Because look at it this way. So, say, for example, you worry, well, what if I go to jail? Well, you're already in jail. What if I'm a bad person? Well, you already feel like you're a bad person if you're worried about it, right? That's how OCD makes you feel, you know? So if you already feel like you're in jail, if you already feel like you're a bad person, what other type of OCD? What if something bad is going to happen? Well, you're living through something bad happening every day, you know? Every day you feel like something bad is going to happen. So every day you kind of, live through it in a sense, or live through the fear you know so whatever it's telling you, whatever fear it's telling you, this is going to happen, you'll handle it if it happens in 10 years. I've never seen it happen to anybody, but maybe you'll be the first, and if you are the first, then you'll be able to handle it when that moment comes. But there's no point in you going around and around, and that's how you get to living with uncertainty. you know that I would rather be uncertain and let go of the fear, than have OCD. And I know to you right now, it feels like you will never let go of the fear as long as you're uncertain. But that's not actually true, because this is an OCD fear. So as you let go, the fear will go down. And if this is not your first OCD thought, you know that the last thought you had, it's not that sometimes you solved it, right? But if it's a thought that you haven't solved, it's kind of like you just don't care about it anymore. You've just moved on, to this new thought, right? So that's how it will feel. It won't feel important. The fear will go down. And again, whatever it tells you that, you'll have this thought until you're 90 years old, it's always I use it kind of like, I use this term kind of loosely, like until the end of time, basically. It's, it will pass. It's just a way to get you into reaction. The brain is trying to pull all the stops to get you into fear. And that's what it's doing. It's saying to you, basically, you won't be able to move forward, live your life, unless you solve this, and there's no way to solve it, so you have to do a million compulsions, you know? whether mental or physical, right? So so that's how you have to look at it, is it's all a big giant lie. And if you had more than one OCD thought, this is not your first OCD thought, then you know this to be true already, because you've already experienced this whole song and dance before. So that's based on all of that. You're saying, you know what, I know how this works, so I'm not going to solve it, I'm going to take the chance. And here, kind of a variation of the delaying technique also works, that it's more longer period delaying, right, where you're saying, okay, I'm gonna live with uncertainty for a month, and if after a month this is still bothering me, then I'll whatever research, analyze, whatever it is, do compulsions. So if it's something like that's more of a long term, that if you can last that long, right? Or I'll let it be until the end of the week, but it's like, and again, for a lot of people this will seem like a stretch, because the person might have trouble lasting the entire hour, but that's how it starts, right? So I'm gonna live with uncertainty for 15 minutes. I'm not gonna do compulsions, I'm just gonna try to focus on something else the best I can. And if you can make that leap, you can continue to do that. So every 15 minutes, you're kind of starting over, right? Next day, half hour, next day, hour. You know what I mean? That's how you're doing it, little by little. It's with OCD, it's not really a quick fix when it comes to recovery. I think, all in all, people recover fairly quickly considering how bad they feel. But it's still, there's still a lot of work and time. The brain, this is a physical issue. This is not metaphysical. This is very, very physical. So the brain actually needs to heal, and those neural pathways need to die out, and it needs to create new connections. So it takes a little bit of time. So don't worry if you're like, well, I'm putting all this work today or this week, and I'm not feeling better. And also try not to get caught up in terms of how you are doing in your recovery, because I see this happen a lot, where people get caught up in the recovery and then start to slide back because, I mean, when I say caught up in the recovery, I mean caught up in the analyzing of the recovery, and then they start to worry about it, and then they start to slide back about it because of it, right? This now becoming a theme of its on its own, right? So just be aware of that. As long as you're aware of it and you're watching that, you really should not have any thought coming from a strong position of fear. Whenever you have a strong position of fear thought, that's usually an OCD thought, unless there's actually something really serious happening in your life. But if it is, you would know it, and hopefully it's not, but if you just feel a lot of fear and urgency to react to the fear, so urgency to fix it, to do a compulsion, to analyze, to check something, that's OCD. So just take that chance, that what if, like I say, jumping out of an airplane, what if the parachute doesn't open? It will open. For 10 years, as many people as I talk to each day, and I work every day. I work days, like weekends, days, every day of the week, you know. So I talk to a lot of people from all kinds of, backgrounds and countries, and OCD thoughts and everything. Not one time it came true for anybody, and that doesn't mean like bad things don't happen to people, but in terms of what they thought, the thought would, like, what the thought was, never comes true. So you're not going to be the first. Just take that chance and refuse reaction and choose to live with uncertainty, because it's not really that uncertain, if you really kind of look into it. I hope you find my videos helpful. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I do daily videos on all things OCD. If you would like to sign up for the recovery program, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.